Alright boys, game number 1, Inferno Shrines. We are the second qualifier for Dreamhack Tours, and we have Elysium Gaming going up against Casual Logic Gaming, CLG. Inferno Shrines, map number 1, and well, once again, I'm with Tetcher here, and we're going to bring you the coverage, whereas we have Elysium with an immediate ban on good old Illidan, who was picked yesterday in our first qualifier quite a bit.
Yeah, he was picked. Actually, he was picked in most of the matches we did watch it, but we actually only got to cast him once, despite him actually not getting banned out in the draft a couple times. But he only managed to sneak through once or twice, and he very severely won one of them.
Yeah, he kind of wrecked pretty hard. And in a lot of the games we saw him banned. I think, as you already pointed out, we had like 2 games where he completely snuck past the draft, but that was also, of course, a little bit map dependent. Other heroes that we have seen banned out quite a bit. I mean, in this case, it looks like Casual Logic Gaming is going for a ban on Thrall. We have seen Falstad banned quite a bit on a lot of the maps here. We've seen bans on Li Ming as well, of course. But I'm a little bit curious about this game here in particular. There's a lot of things that have been changed, especially with Blizzard, of course, taking care of the heroic abilities that a lot of the heroes have. Zul is one of the heroes that oftentimes sees a ban on Infernal Shrines as well, since the split push potential is just so over the top. And Elysium Gaming, they look like they are going to use the opportunity to pick him up first, since CLG actually went into a Thrall ban.
Yeah, the Thrall ban is not too surprising. We don't see it very often, but it's still a very solid ban. It means they basically get their choice in terms of ranged and anything else they want. And they're actually going to pick up Sonya, by the looks of it, as their melee, who is someone who's going to be not have as much trouble with Zul as maybe someone like Thrall or Illidan would have.
So, in case that you're not really familiar with Casual Logic Gaming, it's basically Gamers 2 2.0. So, we have a lot of Polish players once again in that team, and a lot of familiar faces. This is definitely a team that you have to watch out for, because these guys are good. And with them banning out Thrall, they go into the Sonya. So, usually you have like that bit of a toss-up with Sonya and Thrall being like the 2 bruiser-type heroes that the teams are trying to pick. And oftentimes you end up with one on one team and the other one being picked by the opponent. In this case, though, with the ban that we have on Thrall, CLG is able to pick Sonya up, and Falstad, who we could actually see with the Hinterland Blast. The heroic ability is a little bit stronger right now, and we actually have seen a couple of hybrid builds already yesterday, where players started on 16 to go into overdrive over hammer time, to just make sure that not only the boomerang and hammerang, but also, of course, the heroic ability, the Hinterland Blast, get a bit more value out of it. So there's a couple of ways how you can play Falstad now that Blizzard increased the cooldown of Mighty Gust to 60 seconds.
Yeah, this map is definitely one of the most solid ones for the Hinterland Blast as well, due to the fact that a lot of those fights will be taking place on the Shrine area, where there's going to be quite a lot of grouping up. And of course, if you use your ultimate, you're more than likely to hit a fair few demons as well, so you're going to actually make your team get towards the objective at the same time.
Yeah, definitely true. And I mean, for Elysium, they go with a Mirrodin here. Tank situation has actually changed a little bit as well, especially on Infernal Shrines. The Haka has become quite popular. There's a lot of maps where he has seen a lot of play yesterday. And besides that, we've also seen a bit of an increase in picks on, or bans even, on Johanna, since now you can play her with the Falling Sword as well, which does actually incredible damage. Another hero that has really benefited from the recent patch changes was Tyrande, and I would not be surprised to see her with Starfall once again, especially since on Infernal Shrines you can get a lot of value out of a good Starfall.
Yeah, I wouldn't be too surprised to actually see her on either of these lineups, that she would fit into either of them, depending on when they picked her. Kael'thas going to get banned out by Casual Logic. Makes sense. We only really saw him twice yesterday, actually, and neither one he actually won. He's so far 0 for 2. But he's been picked in America a lot. He's been doing very solidly over there.
Yeah, it's one of those heroes that has been talked about a lot, especially as you already pointed out in America. He's being played quite a bit. And it's one of those heroes that everybody is like talking about right now. Everybody's testing them in scrims, but we haven't really seen him have a huge impact in the European qualifiers yet. That might, of course, change, but not in this game. He's banned out, as you already pointed out. We have Elysium with the ban on Tacita, and that caters a bit to that double support meta that we oftentimes see coming in from teams trying to go for a Tacita Uther, a Tacita Rhaegar, a Tacita Tyrande, for example, to just enable a bruiser-type hero like Sonya. So in this case, Elysium seems to be very interested in banning at least one of the components of that double support strategy out. That is actually, in my opinion, a very, very good ban here on their part. So that's definitely going to help. They could have banned a Tyrande as well, because as mentioned before, there's no chance that the Tyranda's changed Starfall. She's not going to make an appearance in the draft. And Tacita is banned out, but CLG just says, hey, we want to have our double support anyways, so there's a Rhaegar and a Tyrande. How are you going to deal with that?
Yeah, and it's still a very solid lineup. That means Rhaegar with Lightning Shield for the Sonya. Other option would have been Uther, but the Rhaegar does work out very well. It gives them probably a bit more aggression than they would have with an Uther, so it should work out pretty well for them.
One of the cool things about Rhaegar compared to Uther is, of course, also that you can go even into Lightning Bond if you want to get the extra siege damage on the shrines and get extra minions for the objective. You don't necessarily have to go into Lightning Bond. It's a great tool to have on this map, but even if you don't go for it, the Lightning Shield alone is already helping you to secure the objective quite a bit. And Elysium is countering this with Charism right now. They are running a front line with Zul and Muradin. Charism in this case, I could have seen an Uther for them as well, but they don't really have a hero that can be enabled by Uther yet. Them looking at Sylvanas is very interesting though. I personally love to see Sylvanas on maps where you have something pushing down a lane, like on, let's say, for example, Battlefield of Eternity as well. And let's keep in mind that with the Barb Shot now being available on level 7 for Sylvanas, you can get a lot of damage out against the Punisher, and also when you're trying to get the minions to secure the objective for yourself.
Yeah, she can do a lot of damage with that, and you could also have to consider the situation of even if at any point Elysium has to abandon a shrine, they have Zul and Sylvanas now. They can super split push and just get a massive XP advantage, push up the lanes and give themselves a lot of breathing room for when they have to defend.
Absolutely. If you lose a team at some point and suddenly you have Zul and Sylvanas just pushing down lanes, you know they are going to do damage, and they're going to do a massive amount of that. Now, CLG is currently looking at a Diablo here for their potential pick, and we have seen Diablo being picked a lot. MVP Black in the Korean scene has actually started that in Infernal Shrines. It gives you a lot of area of effect damage during the shrine times, and you can control the choke points leading into the shrine quite nicely. Together with Sonya, you can play that front line, and Diablo, normally as a solo tank, is struggling a little bit, but as he has Sonya at his side and also double support behind him, that's a great tank to take right now. Has a lot of hero damage as well, of course, and that is really going to help them. So yeah, pretty exciting lineup here for the two teams for map number 1. So guys, we're going to jump in and find out which team is going to take it on Infernal Shrines here at the Dreamhack Qualifier. Elysium Gaming going up against Casual Logic Gaming. Game number 1, ladies and gentlemen, has just now started. We are going into our first game of the day on Infernal Shrines. And as you can see right now to the left side of the map, we have the Casuals. Casual Logic Gaming, something like that. With Kreku on Tyrande. You have Shiku on Sonya, Nika on Falstad, Leo from Korea on Rhaegar, and Juf on Diablo. So the Polish team going up against Elysium Gaming now with Blade on Sylvanas for the red team, Mitch on Charism, Razim on Liming, we have Saka on Muradin, and Floriel is playing Zul. Our first map of the day, and we are in the second qualifier for Dreamhack Tour. And as you can already see, Falstad flying in right away, trying to get an early hit off here with his Gathering Storm, but Nika's ability was dodged as we have both of the teams committing with 5 heroes into the middle of the map.
Yes, so they need to be very careful about where they position here with Diablo. One wrong move and they could get tackled into one of the walls, especially where Muradin's positioned. This is a position where in the second you step out that bush, you put yourself at risk of a big Diablo gag, but he doesn't want to dive in because that would be taking a bit too much of a risk at the moment. They want to concentrate more on clearing the lane.
Yeah, and right now, actually, when it comes to the talents, we also have a bit of an adjustment as the level 1 talent on Sylvanas goes. It goes for Paralysis, which is a little bit more popular these days than it was before. A nice attack against Sonya at the top, and that's the first blood as well for Elysium Gaming. And they are immediately using the opportunity to push. Nika has to take the long way around, but the first tower is lost, and yeah, that's the value that you get out of using a Sylvanas this early in the game.
Yeah, she kind of annihilates everything. Can you imagine if Li Ming still did the siege damage that she did on release? That would, God. Yeah, this lane would already be gone at this point. But in comes Diablo with the combo, and they were able to take down Tyrande. Very nicely done with the good old Diablo Tyrande combo.
Yep, Charism falling here thanks to Diablo Tyrande. And in this case, it was actually like a really smart kill there too. So there's a lot of aggression that is happening here. We have a double support, for example, which is allowing to just like keep Diablo alive. It can go really ham. Same for Sonya. Both of them can dive deep, and the supports will be able to keep them alive. But with that Diablo and Tyrande combo, we have, of course, also that early game aggression that the Polish team is really looking for now. They can just like go in, try to go for a snipe and get their early game kills, especially for the first few shrines then being active. So it's a very well-rounded composition that they're playing right now. Diablo offering a lot of synergy with the rest of the heroes here for them. And that's going to be pretty tricky for Elysium Gaming to play against. They need to be very careful here, especially, of course, their squishies in the backline.
Yeah, the squishies need to be very careful. And there is actually a chart. Out of the heroes they don't actually have anyone with a giant killer option percentage damage to deal with Diablo other than Zul very later on.
Yeah, in terms of talents, by the way, Jailers has been picked up by Zul now, talking about him. And we have the cooldown reduction on level 4 for Sylvanas. The Ming in a bit of trouble, but Tirana not there with the stun. Gets it in finally, but it's already a bit too late. A lot of pressure from the Polish team against Elysium Gaming once again. Even mana reduction now on the side of Rhaegar. He wants to go with Electric Charge to help his team to get those minion stacks on the shrine a little bit. Zul still roaming the lanes, trying to get experience, as Elysium Gaming is starting to push into the shrine area to secure a few of the minions for themselves.
So we have Diablo trying to roll in here with Lightning Shield and his own Fire Devil. He just does insane AoE damage here. So he is just trying to play as many minions as possible. They take down Karazim this time, but Leo dropping low, able to go into wall form and immediately get away.
Shihu is still on the job though, pushing Blade back, and they are securing one stack after another. In experience, a slight lead already for Elysium Gaming though, since they still have Zul in the middle of the map and he starts to move to the top to push down another wave. So when it comes to experience and lane presence, Elysium Gaming taking a slight lead here, but thanks to that Punisher, we should see quite a bit of building damage also on the side of the casuals now. They're starting to move in here, and they already rotated Sonya up to the top to deal with Zul.
Yep, so she's going to be able to use Whirlwind to clear that up really nicely. And in the meantime, though, the Punisher is pulled over the wall, so it will go down quite quickly, but they're at least able to take down both towers and the gate because of it. So for a first Punisher, that's actually about as much as you could hope for.
Yeah, that wasn't too bad. They are going to get the gate now too, thanks to the Arcane Sentry. So they were able to get quite a bit of experience out of this. Both of the teams now on level 7, and with the Gathering Storm build on Falstad, he's continuing that now with Boomerang after he went for the power throw on level 4. We have Cleanse taken up by both teams right now. Makes, of course, perfect sense, especially for Karazim to use Cleanse in this case, since the Diablo and Tyrande comp is definitely a huge threat to them. And for Sylvanas, we have the Barb Shot, as expected, so it's going to be a bit easier for her to really deal with Punishers in the matches to come. Keep in mind that if actually Elysium Gaming secures a Punisher for themselves with Zul and Sylvanas, they have incredible push power to get a lot of value out of it.
Yeah, on the other side, though, we see Li Ming taking the Seeker, as opposed to what some Li Mings like to take on this map, which is the Calamity, giving you that extra AoE damage for the Shrine fights.
Yeah, definitely true. Calamity can give you a lot of value here when it comes to the siege damage. We're having also the camps now taken. And right now, when it comes to rotations, Sonya has to be very careful. She's the one up at the top, and wow, she's actually running straight into 3, but there's no lockdown on the side of Elysium Gaming at this point, so no stuns, and Shihu is able to get away from this one. He's still starting to lose a few of the structures here, and I actually like that Elysium is always trying to just like split Zul and Sylvanas and always put a bit of a push on several lanes, so it's very difficult for the casuals to actually like counteract that with good rotations and making sure that they're not losing too many structures here.
Yes, working out quite well for them, and as such, they are keeping up in XP despite losing most of those towers in the bot lane and being a kill behind. Nika going to be able to pull back, not in any real danger here unless Muradin is able to land a very good stun. Yeah, but Tyrande also have no one to gank at the moment due to the fact so many people just now were doing the mercenary camp, but now have actually rotated back to lanes.
Pretty important to note that the second shrine is about to go active as well, and I mean the first Punisher isn't really a big deal. The second one is also not as strong yet, but it's starting to really scale. And this is where both of the teams will try to get this one for themselves. But keep in mind that they are also heading into level 10, so it's very important to still soak the remaining experience so that you get the heroic ability. There's nothing worse than being caught in a shrine when your opponent already has the heroic. But there we have it now for both of the teams. Starfall, as predicted, has been taken. Mighty Gust still over the Hinterland Blast, even with the 60-second cooldown. An attack already up at the top as we have the kill against Rhaegar. He's down, was silenced, and Shihu is falling too. It's a double kill from Elysium Gaming. A great position for them now to take the next Punisher of the game.
Yeah, very nicely done by them, but they are just focusing on the demons here. Falstad just throwing out that Hammerang. He has the Boomerang talent, so he's able to do quite a bit of AoE damage. Just trying to steal as many of these as possible to at least slow down and wait for his team, but not going to have enough time. 26 to 12. Instead, he's going to rotate up to the top lane and get rid of that Shame, which is already onto his fort.
Now it's starting to become very tricky for the casuals because we have that Sylvanas pushing with the Punisher. It's a frozen Punisher, so it's still something that you can of course manage at this point, but we need to Randa, in my opinion, here in the middle now to drop one of her Starfalls to really just like counteract that a little bit, because Sylvanas is already doing her job. The Punisher is jumping in, but the towers are just being disabled. Here comes the kill against Rhaegar once again. Finally, we have Tyrande here. No Starfall being used yet. Shihu is being jumped, and Sylvanas is still disabling all of the structures, which gives amazing value now to Elysium Gaming. The red team taking down not only the front wall, but also the entire Fort Plus tower in the mid lane.
Yeah, and the thing is, they can keep going. Like you said, Sylvanas just disables the towers and makes that Punisher last a little bit longer. They are finally going to back up because the Punisher is going down, but only after taking off almost all of that tower health. And while this is happening, Zul's still been going up here.
Yeah, Zul is at the top, and it's nearly a 2-level lead at this point that we see for Elysium Gaming. They did an incredible job with that push in the mid lane as is, and Zul was at the top doing the exact same thing. Now we have an extra talent already for Elysium. It's 5 kills against 2, and it just shows the strength of these wave clear heroes, especially Sylvanas on a map like Infernal Shrines.
Yeah, and we see Sylvanas with the Will of the Forsaken here. A very good talent considering she is up against that Diablo. Gives her a good survivability for herself, assuming she can time it right to get out of a lot of those stuns. Li Ming going with the Illusionist, giving herself some form of escape and a little bit of safety.
Yeah, Zul actually not going for a talent just yet. Here comes the attack against Mirrodin. Jumps out, has to pop his avatar. Nice aggression on the side of the casuals, but they really need a kill right now. They have to deal with all of these camps as well, and there's another one in the mid lane making its way over towards the wall at the keep. So Falstad is flying over there and making sure that he can de-push that without them taking too much damage. Keep in mind that they are lacking the level 13 talent, so they're still a little bit behind. Nice damage output here from Nika against the minions, thanks to his boomerang. But we still have pressure on all of the lanes, and especially Blade with his Sylvanas is a huge problem at this point for the casuals.
Yes, Sylvanas is the problem, and also Zul, who's only just starting to be defended against. Falstad only just arriving in that top lane now. So Zul has been pushing this for quite a while and still has quite a couple skeletons up here. So once again, just going to sap that 4 ammo, just slowly whittling it down. Whereas we now see the 4-man group up in the mid lane from Elysium preparing for the next shrine, which will be just below them.
Yeah, we have at the same time now Falstad soaking a bit more experience so that they have level 13, which is the case now. He can just push another wave back and then fly back down. But yeah, that shrine is already activated. No 16 talent yet for Elysium, so it's an even talent that we're going to see that fight. With now Overflowing Light being used, we are also having the Earth Shield, which is going to allow Rhaegar to keep targets alive for a bit longer. The attempted gank against Falstad not really coming to play yet, but Zul is at the top lane, so that means Falstad is actually staying at the top as well, defending against him. But we have a slight surplus in minion stacks already for the casuals, as Falstad is finally making his way down to the bottom.
As has Zul, though. They're coming in. The Mighty Gust used the synergy. Mighty Gust into Lightning Breath, nothing hits. And the Starfall also not getting a huge amount of value, but they are taking a lot of demons with this, and as such, they are able to take the objective.
Yeah, they take the objective, but as you already pointed out, they kind of, well, wasted 3 of their rogue abilities without getting anything out of it. They got the Punisher.
Blew the enemy away a bit. Mighty Gust got value.
Yeah, I suppose. But the problem is that with Lightning Breath and the Starfall we completely missed. They didn't really do too much with that. They still got the Punisher, which is the important part. And they are in a position where they can finally take down a few of the structures. And they, of course, attempt to get on the same level in experience as the opponent. Level 14 versus level 15 at this point. Up to the top lane, we're currently seeing Nika deal against the Florial on Azul, who's constantly just pressuring in. And they move into the middle now, as we see Elysium Gaming defending against the Punisher at the bottom, to at least get a few more structures and destroy the wall.
Yeah, they're able to get the towers. Zul coming down to defend in case they kept going, but they haven't. And as such, Falstad has finally actually been able to push back this lane and push it all the way up to the towers. So he'll be able to join his team for this mercenary camp without having to worry too much. Unfortunately, it is actually a 5-man push, so he should be at least a little worried and also not do that.
Oh god.
Wow.
Falstad gets completely annihilated. Cold Embrace, of course, helping here out as well. The level 16 talent on Sylvanas. We're having the Circle of Life now for Karazim, and of course the Stone Form for Muradin himself. Dio is currently, yeah, well, he actually has to be back since we have a big push happening up at the top, and Sylvanas is again getting value for the team. Flowing Wounds on 16 now taken for Zul and the Qualifier as well. as a level 13 talent, so he's definitely going for a bit of an alternative build. Not what we usually see when you're heading into the amplified damage and also corpse explosion in most cases.
I love what Zul is doing here, though. He's going for the a bit of extra scythe. So one, he gets more wave clear on the shrines if he can hit multiple heroes, so he gets the reduced cooldown. He gets the slow, so he's seeing the enemy, and he will also has a chance to pick up the level 20 reduced healing talent when he is against a double support lineup. So can really make the most of that.
That's what he's doing. Like,
yeah,
with 13 and 16 taken, I would be shocked for him to not take that 20.
Yeah, I agree. So that's going to be super useful for him. We'll have to keep an eye on the healing numbers to see how they are affected, especially Tyrande. She just got her Ranger talent, so she's just at the point where she's going to get almost her maximum amount of healing out, unless she would have taken the other heroic, but she wants Starfall, and yeah, we've seen how quickly she can spam this out.
Elysium Gaming is doing an incredible job here. I mean, consider who they're up against. They're up against like a Polish team that has been played together for a long time. They have a few adjustments here, of course, with players that have come in from other teams, but still, these guys have a lot of experience. They are seasoned veterans and Heroes of the Storm, and they definitely know how to play the game. But Elysium Gaming is playing an amazing match right now. 16 versus 16 at this point, and a full focus on the Lightning Shield, with even the Rising Storm taken on 16. Interesting choices here for Rhaegar. Definitely an alternate style, especially since he is in a double support situation. He can, of course, make these adjustments, but another Punisher is being fought over, as we're seeing once more a slight lead in minion stacks on the side of the casuals.
Diablo getting focused, but he's staying alive. Nice Ancestral, blocking a huge amount of damage from the Poison Nova. Lightning Breath gets the full duration off, but he is finally killed off by Li Ming, who gets a huge hit on Nika as well.
Yeah, that Starfall doing serious work on the other hand. It's still a 5 versus 4 as Diablo is going to come back, and Shiho jumps in. He wants the kill. Doesn't get it though, but with the healer still down, it's very tricky for Elysium to make any kind of plays. Look at that teleport from Li Ming in the last moment before Shiho can take her down. Once again, Nika is right there, but it's going to be the Punisher on the side of the casuals. They're doing a great job here once again with this, and also Sylvana's now taken out by Zul apparently down at the bottom of the map here. So they get a bit of momentum going for themselves, and Elysium Gaming needs to be careful. They're still had an experience, but they are starting to lose some ground.
Yeah, they really need to be careful right now, because the entire team of Casual Logic are pushing the mid lane with this Punisher, and they are able to take down the fort at least with the Punisher, still with most of its health. Those magic missiles from Li Ming not hitting this time. Punisher coming over the wall, unsurprisingly. Tyrande dropping a bit of extra damage to punish Muradin for tanking that up.
And at the top lane, we have still Leo pushing in, so they already... Basically what they did here, they looked at the situation on the map and they said, okay guys, we're not going to get that keep. It's not going to happen. We are in a situation where we will not be able to take this. So we just split the team up already. We put Leo up to the top on his Rhaegar. He can push the wall in, secure a little bit of experience for us. And that brings them actually on eye level with their opponents. So it was a very smart decision here. They moved back before the Punisher died to make sure that they didn't lose anybody in the mid lane either. And Rhaegar also retreated when he realized that there's a possible gank against him. Didn't really have a lot of vision on the opponent's team. So a smart choice here on the side of Leo, and that really helped them to close that gap in experience and at least face Elysium Gaming, potentially at least, with level 20s on both sides.
Yes, and that is what they're trying to aim for, getting that XP. Diablo in the top lane, clearing very nicely with his Fire Devil, but he's playing a little bit further back because he does not want to get caught. However, now that everyone's shown in the mid lane, he's going to be able to clear that minion wave even quicker. Whereas Zul going to soak for his team, get that level 20 as quick as possible so that they are prepared for the next objective, or can go looking for a fight. Zul actually just chilling. Oh, there he goes.
I'm just realizing, by the way, I already, like I said a little bit earlier, that Sylvanas might have actually been killed by Zul. That definitely did not happen, because
yeah, I wasn't going to say.
They are on the same team, so it must have actually been Kreku with an owl, to be honest with you, getting that last hit in against Sylvanas. That's the only hero that had a chance of still dishing out the damage.
There were a mercenary camp down there. He might have walked into a siege giant camp, but it is most likely the owl.
Yeah, it was probably that. I just like looked at the top and I was just like, wait a moment. That didn't make any sense.
Right here.
Yeah, and the minimap is the only one that I actually saw over there, but then I realized, hey, wait a second, they're actually on the same team. I don't really think that happened. So yeah, a little bit too quick on that. But now the 20s are coming into play. And, well, Tyrande, of course, already got a lot of value for the team overall. I mean, that last Starfall that we saw on that shrine was actually incredible. And at this point, we're also seeing the level 20s. And as expected, we are seeing Zul with a mortal wound.
Yeah, Mortal Wound coming in for Zool. Sylvanas going with a bit more survivability with that Bolt of the Storm. Storm Shield on the Karazim, extra survivability for his team, and the Hardened Shield on the Muradin. And just in time for this objective fight, level 20s, including Celestial Wrath and the Hellstorm, are also available for casuals.
That's amazing talents, and I mean the position up here is great because you can trap the opponent, and with a good Starfall and a good Hellstorm, you can actually do a whole lot of work here. And that's exactly what they're going to be looking at. The damage output on Tyrande is already at 24,000. That's the same amount of damage that Falstad has, by the way. So that is pretty incredible and shows once again how strong that heroic ability has become now with the reduced cooldown and also the damage increase. Both of the teams fighting for position here, and Juve is getting some more additional stacks for his team. Nika is in a lot of trouble though. He needs to be careful. The double supports are healing him back to full health again. Kregu has still not committed his heroic ability, will do so, and there it is, the Hellstorm also being used. The Palm saving Zul for now, but everybody's so low for Elysium Gaming.
Zul finally getting sniped by the Owl there. The poison over did so much, but Leo and Tyrande are able to heal everyone up. And now we see Sheku going for the chase. Not going to be able to kill Li Ming here, but they have full control over this area. They only got one kill though, and as such we see the big rotation from Elysium down to the mid lane to just push that up, de-push all the other lanes. We're going to see Blade getting chunked here, but he is going to be able to clear the bot lane before coming to defend.
Yeah, that Owl did work. The problem for them really is that even with Karazim trying to move to the top, they are still missing Zul. And they somehow need to deal with the Punisher here, and that's not going to be easy. At this point, it's going to be a massive push. Tyrande has the Starfall back already, so can use that once again, and her damage output is already out of this world. The Punisher is going straight for it, and now 18 minutes in, this bad boy is doing some serious damage. They go straight for the keep, and they are definitely going to get this one.
Yeah, keep going down here, but they're looking for a possible kill as well. However, everyone's staying very far back and not taking the risk of getting caught out of position. So the Punisher is picked off, does a bit of damage to the mid lane too. More Owl power, not doing too much damage this time. But with the first keep of the game that that does put Casual Logic Gaming in a very strong position.
We have 27,000 heal on Tyrande and still 36,000 damage. He's the top damage dealer in the side of the blue team or the casuals here. So that's pretty incredible. When it comes to damage output overall, though, Li Ming still taking the #1 spot here with 57,000 for Elysium Gaming. But I'm really liking that build that we're currently seeing for Zul. We've been touching upon that already a little bit earlier, and now on level 20, of course, took the Mortal Wound after taking Flowing Wounds and Decrepify. It's an amazing talent going up against a double support composition, and that is really something that helps them in these fights. Their problem is really just like all these AoE spells, and especially the Starfall. The Hellstorm plus Starfall is just insane! But they take down Diablo right now, at least they try to. The Ancestral is preventing it, and Karazim is already dead with Li Ming about to die, and there's also the problem that Zul is incredibly low. There's the kill. Florial escapes, not quite sure if he's going to escape for good. Saka is also being attacked. The Owl takes down, in this case, Zul, and everybody is dying except for Sylvanas, and she's also on the run.
Run, Blade! In the meantime, everything is dying. They're all running to the top lane to try and end the game by the looks of it, or at least push up to core. Blade, though, he's still getting away. He is on the run. He's mounted up. And we don't have the extra movement speed on Wolf form for Rhaegar. In the meantime, though, the core is dying. So Rhaegar doesn't even need to get the kill here. He just needs to stop Sylvanas from going back to defend, because that is going to be GG. And Casual Logic take game #1.
Let's be honest, even if Sylvanas can TV back, she's not going to change that map over here.
Yeah.
The core falls, game #1 ends in favor of the casuals. Great play here by them, but Elysium Gaming also with a good showing. Alright, boys and girls, game #2, Battlefield of Eternity. We have our draft starting up, and again, the ban on Illidan. Elysium going up against Casual Logic Gaming, and, well, in this case, it seems like we're even having a Tyrande first pick. I wonder why, after she more or less decided the last game there. Celestial Wrath with a 30% increase on the damage output for an ultimate, which already deals incredible damage. Some would say terrible, terrible damage. So, yeah, Tyrande back on the first pick spot.
Sorry, I'm having issues. One sec.
Alright. Well, Tetcher's actually fixing his issues, whatever they are. We have Sonya banned on the side of Casual Logic Gaming, but yeah. At this point, Elysium, of course, on Battlefield of Eternity, they have a couple of choices to make. And one of the heroes they can definitely pick this early on, which would still be available, is a Greymane, a Thrall. We could see even that Greymane combo with the Tassadar, which oftentimes is chosen to help you to enable the assassin later on in the game with a second healer to get like good damage output there. Keep in mind that Tyranda's damage in the last game is actually not the only reason why she's a very good early pick in this game right now. We are on Battlefield of Eternity, so the extra damage that you can dish out against the Immortal with her trait is incredibly important if you want to make sure that you secure the objective for yourself. So that's a huge part of it. And also, they are in a position right now where they can play with a solo heal Tyrande if they would want to, but they still have the option to go into a double support again with Rhaegar, which they already showed in the last game. So there are a few reasons why Tyrande is a great first pick here for them. Elysium Gaming, on the other hand, they have Greymane already. They seem to decide in favor of Thrall over Tassadar. Both of them would have been really good choices here. Even a Muradin would be a good option. Li Ming for poke against the Immortal has also a lot to offer here. So as you can already tell, there's a lot of stuff that you can pick in this case right now to really get a bit of a lead over your opponent.
Okay, I'm back.
Welcome back.
I hope. We'll find out in a bit. but yeah, Elysium looking to pick up the ETC as their second pick. Very solid, just in general good CC. Into a Tyrande is going to be fun, so we'll probably see Elysium attempt to pick up the Uther at least some point throughout this draft.
They might have been a bit afraid of Casual Logic Gaming actually picking ETC here in the later stages. Usually you see him, if he's banned out, as a second ban. In this case right now, an ETC Tyrande would of course have been great, but we've seen Diablo being played a bit earlier by Casual Logic Gaming. They are the ones who snag up Li Ming now, since they want to have that extra poke against Immortal. If you end up in one of those stalemate situations in the middle of the map, then Li Ming with that poke is actually incredibly powerful to take the Immortal down, especially with the help of Tyrande. For now, Casual Logic Gaming, they have to really think about a little bit how they want to go into the next two bans. A frontliner would be great for them. We've been talking a lot about Muradin here, of course, so he would be one of the options that they have here. But it seems like they are the ones who are trying to snag up Thrall right now. Thrall, by the way, was banned in the last game. Keep that in mind. And with the Sundering, he has also a great tool to deal with the mosh pit on ETC, so he would be a good pick. There's a couple of really nice heroes that they could take here, and they decide in favor of Thrall. They let, for now, the frontline go, but there's so many options for them what they could pick here. Like, it ranges from a Diablo to a Stitches to a Muradin. Even Dehaka is still a solid option, plus Johanna, so they're probably not afraid that they are going to get a good tank for their frontline.
Yeah, they seemed very comfortable with Diablo last game, so it would not be too bad for them to pick him up again. Especially with this lineup, actually. I go some good Thrall CC, some good Diablo into Tyrande CC. Casual have plenty of options, whereas Elysium, they did get their first choice in terms of VTC, but like I said, more of a steal than a pick, but it is still super solid for them.
Yeah, and we have Elysium actually like thinking about that Tassadar ban again. The problem is that I don't really feel the casuals are they are switching it to Rhaegar. I kind of like that. I feel like a Tassadar Tyrande would be strong, but the casuals have already shown that they would love to play a Tyrande Rhaegar, which is a combo that we've more or less seen for the first time in Katowice played by My Insanity quite regularly. But that double support is definitely something that Elysium respects right now. I would still expect them to pick up Uther unless the casuals ban him out, because ETC plus ETC Mosh Pit plus the Divine Shield would be really great. For Greymane, it would be an amazing enabling tool too. And the casuals actually ban out Abathar because they don't want to deal with a double Greymane, and they are also in a situation where they say like, yeah, those toxic nests all over the mid lane, all over the middle of the map, we don't really want to have to deal with that either.
Yeah, this is also one of the maps that Abathar just gets the biggest advantage on in terms of soaking, due to it being a two-lane map, so he can literally just soak both of them at the same time while the objective is happening. So the longer a team could delay it, better it would be. However, like we said, it does give Uther over to Elysium, so now they have that wonderful combo of Divine Shield Mosh Pit, or just a Divine Shield on the Greymane to keep him alive and let him do all his damage.
I would actually... Hi, Brock. Thank you very much for the sub, my friend. But, like, talking about that Uther, I would actually like a Tassadar with this, too. Think about it, like, they have Greymane already. If they go Uther Tassadar at this point and then pick up a range damage dealer on the last pick, a Vala, for example, they can do a lot here. They seem to be a little bit afraid of, like, that Starfall and AoE damage, maybe even of that Sundering, so they go for Tyrael instead. Sanctification is going to be great for them, too. I would have really liked the Tassadar in this case, to be honest with you. I really feel it would have given them the vision that they need. It would have supplied a little bit more poke with that Storm, and they would have had great enabling tools for Greymane once that he starts to commit a jump in, and then they could always have picked up another hero then later on, like a Sylvanas, for example, for the damage against the Immortal with Barbed Shot, a Vala for the single target damage from range. So they chose a different way. They went into Tyrael, and I'm a little bit curious to see how they are going to be able to deal with the casuals combo here.
We will find out, but I actually really like the Tyrael. I agree Tassadar would have been strong, but I think Tyrael here is going to work quite a bit better for them. They currently are all for melee, so they're going to be in a situation where Thrall with a good Sundering, Tyrande with the Starfall, and if Diablo was picked by the casuals, which they are deciding between Muradin and Diablo decide to go Muradin, but that would have been another hero who would have done a huge amount of damage in a small area, so the Sanctification would have just been insanely good for them.
I really like that the casuals are going away from Diablo now that they see the Tyrael pick, because in this case, a Sanctification can really ruin way too much of your damage. So having Muradin instead makes a lot of sense in my opinion. I really like the pick here. I'm a bit curious to see what they're going to go for the last time, and they actually pick up Tassadar right now. So, yeah, Tassadar as Elysium did not choose to go for it. It's now used by Casual Logic Gaming. They have Tyrande, Tassadar. They will enable Thrall with those two heroes to just go really deep with his aggression, and they have good vision now too. Elysium, they could still need another range damage dealer, and as I said, Vala and Sylvanas would be my preferred choices for them at this point.
Yeah, Vala, Sylvanas, Zagara is actually open, who gives a good amount of vision, but they're against a Tassadar, so not going to work as well. And they go with Vala, the most versatile damage dealer we have.
She can go strafe if she's really afraid of Thrall, but I would really like a Rain of Vengeance to try and capitalize on the Mosh Pit. They have a couple of things that they can really do in this case, but either way, Vala is a very good option since they now have single target damage against the Immortal as well, and also against the heavy frontline, can go Giant Killer even on level 13 if they decide to not really go for that Frost Shot hybrid build that we oftentimes see on Vala. So there's a lot of options of how they can play this. Elysium Gaming versus the Casuals. We're going into game number 2, ladies and gentlemen, on Battlefield of Eternity. The game, ladies and gentlemen, has started and we are on Battlefield of Eternity. Kureku to the left side of the map for the casuals. We have him on Tyrande again. Shihu on Thrall, Zhuf on Muradin, Leo from Poland on Tassadar, and Nika is playing Li Ming. To the right side of the map, down one game in the best of 3 series here at the Dreamhack Qualifier. It's Blade on Vala for Elysium Gaming. We're seeing Saka on Stitches. We have Mitch on Uther and Greymane played by Elysium, whereas Florial is on the ETC this time. So a second map, and well, if casuals are able to take this one, they will advance to the next round of the tournament where they would face Dignitas.
Yeah, and I guess that means that in the draft, Tyrael is actually Stitches.
Yeah, that looks very much like you're right on that. Stitches is currently being picked totally, like,
I guess it was a bug.
See that, yeah. That makes sense. And that actually makes me dislike this pick even more.
I actually agree, I wasn't going to say. I was like, well, it's cool, they can get picks on like Tyrande and all that, but I really liked the Tyrael idea.
Yeah, the Tyrael idea was smart with like, it's a little bit weird to see that because, I mean, a whole lot of the draft depended on it, but apparently either they don't care that there's a different pick right now, or they just talked about it in the lobby and agreed that it was still fine. But I would have really liked now the Tassadar pick over the second frontliner, because Tassadar, as you can tell in this case, is on the side of, the casuals, and we have the Psion Fusion in this part because he already assumes that he's not going to be able to pick up too many of the regeneration globes, so Conjurer's Pursuit is apparently not an option for him. In terms of level 1 talents, we have now Vala going for multi-shot, so hybrid build is very much likely. And Uther going into a bit of a battle Uther formation here as well. So basically both of the supports are just saying, yeah, Conjurer's Pursuit is not going to do too much here. Let's go into alternative talents instead.
Yeah, and it definitely makes sense. Like you said, the globes on this map are a huge pain to deal with. And we're seeing Greymane getting focused, etc. Going to be able to crowd control everything out of there, though. Yestrim able to get out using his Worgen form. But so far, no kills in this game. But with the objective spawning very soon, that's likely going to change.
Yeah, one of the things, or a theme that has been constant in those two games is that we had a sniper composition in the early game for the casuals every time. Diablo to Randa in the last game, this time they're relying on the Murden to Randa combo, and of course of Nika as well to just like lock the target down. They have a lot of damage also against the Immortal thanks to the trade of Tyrande, which we already touched upon a bit earlier, and later on that Starfall will be able to get significant damage out in any of these fights. And the problem that I actually have at this point is that I don't really see Elysium Gaming having the AoE heal that they need to deal with it. If they had the additional healer in form of a Tacita, that would have been a bit easier. With a Tyrael, they could have used the Sanctification. In case of Rhaegar, the Chain Heal would have done a lot of work. But right now, we're having a combo where not only the poke of Li Ming, but also the Storm of Tacita and the Starfall of Tyrande are going to dish out significant damage in the post-level 10 battles between the two teams, and I am afraid that Elysium Gaming might not be able to handle all of that.
Yeah, I think the composition of the casuals is, at this point with this, these hero picks leaning more towards a pick and snipe composition, where basically they want to try and kill Li Ming or kill Tyrande before the fight gets too out of hand, and basically just burst them down using the Executioner from Valor if she's got, once she gets the frost shots, using the Greymane, just incredible damage he does, and the incredible CC they get from Uther and DTC.
Yeah, so we actually talked a little bit about what's good about the composition on the side of the casuals. Let's focus a bit on the opponent's team. Elysium has also a lot of synergy going for them here. If they get a hook with with Stitches, they can use ETC for the power slide right after that, and then use also Face Melt to just like push the target back into the rest of the team, where Greymane can dish out the damage, where Vala has the single target, theoretically could even go into the Rain of Vengeance if she wants to lock it down even more. The Mosh Pit is a potential, so it's a huge CC combo that we are seeing right now on the side of the red team, and they are going to try to use it in these fights later on. If they're able to get their picks and if they get a good engage, they can definitely run over the composition that we're seeing for the casuals. It's really just a matter of how these fights go. With good spread and good AoE damage, we should actually see the casuals succeed during these team fights, but with good engagement happens on the side of Team Elysium, then they can go for an easy team wipe here as well. Yeah,
absolutely. It's going to be about how their engagements go, how their picks go. They do have a lot of AoE damage themselves as well, in the form of that Valor with the multi-shot. Not going with Arsenal probably, but a little bit of extra damage here and there is still going to be absolutely lovely. He didn't beat Arsenal anyway. Stitches with the Slam build, the Greymane Cocktail, they have so much AoE damage.
Yeah, and we have 4 ETC now. Just keep rocking. There's the hook, though, against Nika. Tries to teleport away. There's no stun follow-up, as Florian was just not around for that stun with the power slide. And in this case, they just get away. But a slight lead in experience already for Elysium Gaming. Had a great start into the first map as well, but then in the later stages, it was just team coordination that we saw for the casuals that was a bit too strong. And the casuals, they have their level 7 now as well. Both of the teams are going for an attack here immediately. Already Florian has to move away. Good stun from Tyrande once more. And Greymane has to be healed by Uther. Shiku is low on mana and hit points, gets hooked in once again, and he is down. But it's the kill against ETC and Stitches that bring again Team Casuals into a slight lead.
Yeah, nice shots by Nika there to pick up those last 2 kills, bringing the fight to a 2-1 in favor of his team, which now move back to the Immortal, except for Muradin, who's going to stay around this Immortal and just be a distraction due to the fact that the casuals were a little bit further behind in at least starting the Immortal.
Yeah, Juve has to move away here. The halftime show has started. Both of the Immortals on roughly half health. And we are, of course, going to see a bit of a focus now that we have a 5 versus 5 back again. And especially the Tyrande comp could go for a focus against the Immortal. They got the damage, but they're not going for it just yet. They're defending their own Immortal instead. Stitches is going to wait for a hook here, and he does not hit.
Yeah, they're looking for engagements right now. ETC dropping a little stun onto Juve. Shiku getting a good start on Saka. They're trying to burst him down. Uther has dropped all his healing, and it's not enough. And as such, we see Stitches get taken out here. He hasn't gone for any of the tanky talents. And even with all the Uther sustain, he still gets taken out.
Li Ming is being sent to the bottom to deal with the Immortal here, already starting the poke. Nika is there. He's very low in mana on the other hand, so he needs a bit of support. And Leo is moving in to help him out here. But it's going to be a burst up at the top as well. But of course, we are going to see a victory in the Immortal run on the side of the casuals here. They get it, and they are able to secure the first Immortal of the game for themselves.
Yeah, so they're going to be able to
second Immortal in the game, first one for them.
Yeah. It's good. It's good. So that's going to be going to the top lane, which currently has a very large group up for Elysium because they want to go for the defense here. But need to be careful. Schickel is in position to try and catch anyone as well as Juve. So they really want their chance here. The Immortal, though, very nicely positioned stuns to make this very difficult for them.
And that level 10 is of course a huge threat. If there's going to be another tower falling, then they have a good shot at actually hitting level 10 during this fight if another wave moves in now. It's maybe not going to hit just yet, but if it does, there could be an immediate turn on the heroes themselves. So right now, Elysium has to be very, very careful with this. But the Immortal is already too low, so everyone on the side of the casuals is moving away just before level 10 hits, and this wave should actually give them the tower.
Yeah, they'll be able to get it from this wave, and also Stitches in the bot lane soaking up as well. But Tass is soaking bot too. They try to get Florial, but Power side, he is just able to walk away. Tastar now just going to soak up the rest of the bot lane, and everyone else up here soaking up top lane, so they will get level 10 themselves any second now. Until once the wave arrives, of course.
Starfall, again, of course, the tool on the side of Tyrande here with a double support. It makes perfect sense, and we have also the Tastar's Force Wall. The important part really in that last fight was that when the stun combo hit, the Just Keep Rockin' was active on ETC, which was one of the main reasons why he could just basically move out without getting harmed at all. Now we have level 10 on both sides, and Vala decided to stay a little bit farther away from Murid and Tyrande and going into Strafe, but up here at the top, the fight is starting. Mosh Pit is already being used, and there's the Divine Shield as well. Strafe is on, they kill against Li Ming, great pickup, and they take down Tyrande too. Great turnaround here by Elysium Gaming. That was exactly what they needed, a perfect Mosh Pit with Divine Shield. No Sundering could be used as it was already on cooldown. Really well done here, and now it's a triple kill against the Polish team. It could be a quad kill as the hook is hitting Shichu. Well done here, and Elysium Gaming taking a solid lead in this game.
Yeah, that was really nicely done. Thrall basically used a Grey Sundering to split the team and then ran up to try and zone Vala away from the fight. After ETC used the mosh, Vala just vaulted straight past him, just so she could get him ready to do the strafe onto the people in the mosh pit and drop an incredible amount of damage.
Yeah, and with that Divine Shield, there was also absolutely no chance to interrupt it. The coordination of Elysium was absolutely perfect here. It doesn't get any better than that. Tyrande didn't even get an opportunity to use the Starfall. She was just like completely trapped there and was just like, well, I guess I'm gonna die now. So
yep.
Next Immortal is happening, and let's see this time the aggression again on the side of the Polish team. Here comes ETC, he's still in cooldown, of course, on the mosh pit.
Yeah, he is taking a lot of damage here, and the Starfall takes him out as well as Stitches. Focus attacks, guys, we got this. There's the Sundering onto Mitch at the Arcade Orb, but he is able to survive.
And that's exactly what we've been touching upon already a bit earlier. With only Uther being around for the heals, it's a little bit tricky for them to deal with the AoE damage. And that's not only accounting for the Starfall, but also the Disintegrated, of course, tries to come in as a finisher. And that worked extremely well. With the resets on Li Ming then afterwards, you can get so much damage out there. And that just turns the game on its head again. After we just had the lead for Elysium, it's now all of a sudden the Polish team that is able to get ahead in the Immortal attack.
Yeah, exactly. They're able to take a bit of a lead here, but Elysium are grouped as 5 again, and they're once again looking for the defense. They have Stitches, so the defense is quite nice for them, trying to focus Thrall here, but Thrall getting himself regen. He's able to, finished off by the Strafe and the Gildean Cocktail, so Elysium able to pick up the kill there.
Yeah, and right now it's just like positioning again. Stitches, of course, is going to look for another hook here. Saka is already there. They have a 5 versus 4 situation going for them for a little bit longer, and there's still a camp pushing the top lane. Juve moves in, tries to go for the stun. Level 13 is still a little bit far away for both of the teams, but here comes the attack against Leo. He needs to use the Force Wall, but Elysium is still trying to get him, and Tassadar might be falling here. Yes, taken down by Greymane, and that, of course, spirals all of this even more in favor of Elysium Gaming.
Yeah, and because Vala has been down in the spot lane killing off the Immortal, because they were very far behind in the Immortal numbers, so they basically had everyone defend while only Vala took care of this, and they are able to pick up the Immortal for themselves, which will now begin pushing the bot lane.
Also, it's now level 13 versus level 12 for just a short period of time, but they might be able to force something with the extra talent, and they are currently looking at the Unfettered Assault once again for the extra range that we are seeing here. We have now also Groupies taken, plus the Shrink Ray, which is going to be really important against Thrall in particular. Vala goes for the combo with a frost shot on 13 and could even head into Executioner if she feels she can pull it off. Relentless taken for Stitches, makes him a lot safer against the stun combo, and they are pushing the bot lane heavily now.
Yeah, Starfall used more for zoning purposes than anything else to try and just at least slow down this push so that they can take care of the Immortal even quicker. Juve with a little bit of stun just to once again zone and keep his team safe while they clear this up. And they're able to take down the Immortal before their fort dies.
Yeah, again the hook attempt here. Glass Cannon, by the way, the talent of choice on the side of Li Ming. We're having in terms of damage output, Tyrande already at 18,000 now with these Starfalls, but Li Ming with 33k, still the top damage dealer in the game. Followed by Greymane and Vala, and again a little bit of a poke battle down here at the bottom, but you can already tell that one of the heroes, namely Muradin, has been split to the top lane to secure extra experience for the Polish team.
He has only just got up there though, but there is no one rotating to him, because instead they are looking to try and pick up some kills instead. Saka rolling forward, ETC lands stun number 1, they manage to hook onto Thrall. He does have the Sundering, uses it to try and escape. Shrink Ray has been used, he is gone. And Saka just tanking up that Arcane Orb so no one else gets hit by it. Muradin arriving far too late, he's only here to defend the fort at this point and not going to be able to help in the fight.
That's a big problem if you're going up against the Stitches. If you are only there with 4 heroes and Stitches lands the hook, he turns it into an immediate battle with 4 versus 5. Juve is being attacked as well, but he gets a bit of assistance from Li Ming here with a quick disintegrate and also, of course, that poke thanks to the orb and the missiles. Florial was looking for an opportunity to use his mosh pit, didn't get the chance to really get any value out of it, but now that we have the Immortals being announced on the map again, we have the 5 versus 5 situation back. 8 kills against 5, by the way, in favor of Elysium Gaming, who are still down 1 game in the best of 3 series here, of course.
Yeah, they're looking to try and make a comeback here in this game. Juve coming in, clearing the minion wave, putting some pressure onto that top fort, which is already very low. And the one in the bot lane also taking a little bit of damage. But we are just seeing the mercenary camps being taken by Elysium for the moment, just in time for the Immortals to spawn actually, so that will help de-push that top lane so that they can worry more about this.
It's just going to be a race until 50% and then they're going to reposition, and so far the Polish team is winning it. We are seeing the casuals taking the 50% a little bit faster than their opponents here. And, well, let's see how is this going to end up, because for now it looks more or less like a defense on the part. No, it's a defense on the side of the Polish team. We're seeing the casuals staying to the left here, waiting, and Saka is, of course, looking for another hook here. Already Shihu with a damage attempt, but he's dodging the hook as well. Stormball already used by Juve. That mosh pit, a huge threat right now. They need to be very careful when they see Elysium Gaming engage.
Yeah, but we are seeing Casual Logic pushing into the Immortal area. Mercenary still pushing the top lane, but we are finding Elysium's begin to zone out again, but their Immortal is slowly dropping. This is how they've won fights before, though. Play very defensively and just pick off someone and then win the fight that way. But now they're pushing in aggressively because a couple heroes have had to leave to go deal with that mercenary camp in top lane.
Yeah, mainly Juve is still trying to defend the Immortal here. He can, of course, always jump out if need be when one of these hooks hits home. But they are starting to lose the Immortal again. Once more Disintegrate by Nika being used for the extra damage in the zone, and a great force wall. Isolating Saka. Stitches in a bit of trouble. Here comes that Starfall as well. Florial already looking for a chance to maybe use the mosh pit again, not moving in yet. Sundering is being used. Now he has a chance to kill against Vala on the other hand. Negates a lot of the damage that we're seeing from Elysium Gaming. Good Divine Shield to save Stitches. Florial nearly take it down here. The Owl not hitting home. And even Greymane is able to escape. But everyone is so low. And with a 5 versus 4 situation, the Immortal is being secured now by the casuals.
Yeah, very well played by them. Able to take a very good fight. Even after clearing that mercenary camp, they just ran back so quickly and were able to take control. Now we're seeing a couple members of Casual Logic going back to base, healing up, making sure that they are ready. No, it's still not even... There we go. I was about to say, they're not going to say they didn't want to clear the top lane. They're going to send Tassadar and Tyrande up there to de-push that, push it up a little so that they can take down that fort as well, maybe.
It was really one of those fights where both heroes, ETC and Thrall, were waiting for a long time to use their heroic abilities, and Thrall only used the Sundering when he was 100% certain that they could get the kill against Tyrande as a result. And that turned it into an advantageous position for them. Now in this, no, sorry, not Tyrande, Vala, of course, was the hero that they took out. But in this case, they have the early level 16, they have the Immortal pushing the bot lane, and we're seeing Ranger, which is going to increase Tyrande's damage even more. Tempest Fury for the triple giant killer attack against Stitches and ETC. And besides that, Stone Form and Dimensional War plus Mirror Ball. So great damage output now, again, on the side of them. Oh, wow. That hook there.
He keeps doing it. He's so good with that teleport. Nika on point.
And they're actually trying to set up a bit of a trap here. Jouve jumps in. He wants to kill. 16 versus 16. They go for ATC. The Sundering is there, but they cannot get their kill just yet. But he's very, very low. He won't be able to turn it around into a mosh pit, or will he? There's still the Divine Shield to account for. Yeah, Divine Shield is out, and ETC, there's the mosh pit. Not interrupted yet. The Starfall is on point, though. Takes ETC down. Good damage. Stun against Uther. Grego tries to eliminate him. Doesn't get the kill, but Saka is about to fall as Greymane and also ETC are both dead. The Owl is not hitting. Is Stitches really going to be able to escape
no,
here?
Surely
Grego
not.
finds him, tries to stun. He's dodging
Here comes
still.
the chase.
Uther.
Mitch is here. Here comes
And-
Muradin. He dodges. Uther heal. Ah.
Oh,
So
that
close.
was so close.
And unfortunately, that means this fort will also go down. It would have gone down anyway just due to the minion wave. But now not only has it gone down, but it is now joined by 4 heroes from the side of the Casual Logic Gaming, pushing back Elysium into their own base, where they're just going to have to heal up and get themselves ready for the next Immortals, which is in 20 seconds.
Yeah, the Polish team is actually doing an incredible job here once again. The one thing that I want to point out is that I feel like in the last map as well, and also now here, is that in the early mid game, we always see Elysium Gaming doing fairly well, but they seem to have a bit of a problem going up against the coordination of the Polish team in the later game fights. Every time we're hitting roughly level 16 talents around that time, when we're heading into 20 as well. This is really where the casuals are the strongest in this point. The early game goes to Elysium, but now they have a bit of a problem really getting these teamfight results that they had in the earlier stages of the game.
Yeah, completely agree. They're having a couple issues here. Tazadar getting stun locked, so he couldn't use Dimensional Shift there. Is able to get out Starfall. Once again coming down, though Mitch is annihilated by that Sundering. Valor trying to drop some damage from the side, but the Immortal is dropping as well.
Yeah, Shihu wants to go for the kill. I doubt that he can follow this up, but with Uther already dead, this is of course a great situation. Good damage output, by the way, again against Saka here. But the Immortal is now being attacked, and it's time for the halftime show, whereas we see the casuals going straight in for the kill, trying to secure that objective, and that will most likely, if they get it with nearly 100% shields, yield them at least a keep, and maybe even more than that.
Yeah, and that would be great for them. Although, if Elysium can get some kills, it would be great. Unfortunately, Thrall is able to escape. The mosh pit, though, catches 2. They're going for Tassadar. He's able to Dimensional Shift, though he stays alive. Greymane is killed off by Thrall, who is now causing havoc in the backline. ETC still trying to get Tassadar. He still escapes. And now Blade gonna drop to the Storm and to the auto attack from Muradin. Florial on the run, but Shihu has his number. No, maybe not. Maybe not. It's gone.
He actually escapes. Well done. The problem is still that the Immortal is nearly on 100% shields, and the bot lane has been pushed in the meantime, and that keep is nearly gone. I mean, that's easy pickings right now. They just have to send someone down there to poke a little bit. That can be Tirana, that can be Tassadar, that could also be Thrall, of course. So no matter who goes down there, they will get the kill, and we have still a 3 versus 4 situation in the game. They should all be ready for the defense against the Immortal, but the situation is really grim for Elysium, especially since we are seeing the casuals hit level 20.
Yeah, and that's going to be, like you said, grim is exactly the word that I would use. Very, very nicely put there. With those 20s, Celestial Wrath, the Temporal Flux, Hardened Shield on the Muradin, Bolt of the Storm on the Thrall, and the Storm Shield on Tassadar for even more survivability. Thrall gets pulled over the wall, though, and stun locked. He bolts out, though. He will survive at the Starfall, going to force everyone back and do a big chunk of damage to Elysium here.
Yeah, Tirana isn't even here, but thanks to the level 20 talent upgrade, she can cast it globally now. So she just puts that in, and it's actually, I mean, at this point, it's already back off cooldown. Apparently, one of those bugs still in game.
Yeah, I don't think it's off cooldown if I had guessed. Yeah, 68 seconds. However, I've already seen Uther get taken down. Stitches joining him, and Greymane getting focused. Shiku is killed off by Greymane, though, but he's super low, and while all this is happening, the Immortal and the rest of Casual Logic are just killing the core. That is going to be GG, and they will take the map and the series in a 2-0.
2-0 victory against Elysium Gaming, and they will advance now to face Team Dignitas in the next round.